I worked hard to build this podcast studio from the ground up. I got my tools, I got my hammer, and I laid the foundation of the new and improved Situaseans podcast. Seanydoo. Hello, and welcome to Situaseans podcast. I'm your host, Sean Michael Williams, aka Seanydoo. You can call me Sean, Shawnee, Seanydoo. Does not matter to me. I'm just glad that y'all are here. I'm glad that I even remembered that intro because, the last time that I recorded an episode for the podcast, for you all, it may have only seemed like, 2 weeks ago. But to me, in real time, I record in a time machine. I record months in advance. So the last time that I recorded was back in August, and we are now in November. So 3 months of not actually taping anything. Oh man, I feel like I'm dusting the, getting the dust off the gears and everything. But anyway, you may be wondering, so what's up with the new setup? You may be wondering, where's the couch? Where's the old Situation sign? Well, just giving y'all a little bit of a sneak peek as to what to look forward to for next year's, podcast episodes and how the layout of Situations podcast is going to be set up, because we are now in LA, baby. Yes, you heard that right. Situations podcast. I'm in LA now. I moved from Chicago, and I've been in LA since August, and it has been phenomenal. Everyone has been amazing to work with. As far as the other creators that I've been connecting with, everyone's been, just really kind. And so far, and the neighbors in my apartment community, they're really cool. I'm over in Koreatown, so I love the vibe. It's very diverse here, and I really appreciate, the vibe. It's great food over here too. So if you're in LA and you see me out on the street, say hello, hit me up. Maybe we can go get sushi. So I'm excited to jump right on in. So I have no outline for this podcast. I did usually before I tape an episode, I'll have an outline prepared as far as my talking points and what I want to talk about. And you may be wondering, well, why do I have another chair here? Again, that's the whole setup of what this podcast is going to be starting in 2025 and from that point forward. And I wanted to do a whole makeup of the studio setup. So and also maybe if you're watching on YouTube or watching on Spotify, you can see that I'm wearing a Situations podcast merch. So get your t-shirt, go to situationspodcast.com and click on the merch tab, okay? And get your Situations podcast merch and get that go all the way to fuck off t-shirt. So the other go all the way to fuck off t-shirt that you'll see pop up here on the screen. But so all the merch is there on the website. Just click on the merch tab once you get to situationspodcast.com and you'll see all the merch. So all the branding, all the good stuff, all the good things. And I'm looking forward to 2025. There's so many guests that I'm going to be having lined up, that I'm reaching out to, that I'm recording episodes with. And you all are going to love the guests that I have coming on. It's going to be a great ride for sure. And we'll have some return guests, some OG guests from from the year one of the podcast, and some year two guests. I'm just really thankful to those of you that tune in, that share the podcast with your friends, your families, your coworkers, a mama, a papa, anybody out there who will listen. I really appreciate it. Situations podcast and this platform cannot live on without your support. So continue to share this podcast everywhere, because we on this podcast, I feel like the community that this podcast has built, we are all just trying to figure out modern dating on the apps and trying to not die alone and have a partner out there. And no matter where you lie as far as your sexual orientation or your gender, we are inclusive here, and we try to make sure that everybody feels warm and welcome. And kind of segueing on that is kind of just with the current environment, unfortunately, with the latest election results. So typically, I try my best to not get political on this podcast because I try not to alienate the audience that's listening. But with the latest election results and what's been going on in society, I feel like I definitely need to speak up and just call out the unfiltered, just bullshit that's been going on, especially with the latest election results. So unless you've been hiding under a rock or something, I guess about this point, almost a month ago at this point, Trump was elected president for the second time. And this is just crazy because he is a convicted felon. He is a liar, a misogynist, and a racist, and does not care about the economy and only cares about lining up his pockets and the people in his network's pockets. And so with this latest election, it fueled a lot of hate from the right. And now people have been like, you have people the Andrew Tates and, those other commentaries out there saying just the most hurtful things. And I can't remember the one guy's name, but I'll remember it in a second. I may have to Google it or whatever, but I'll put up his picture here, whatever, so that you all can see who I'm talking about, and we'll put up his name and everything. But this motherfucker right here, this guy said was one of the Trump supporters that said, to all women, congratulations, women, you lost again to men. You're worthless. You're nothing. It's your bodies, but our choice as men. Pretty much saying that women have no choice over their own bodies or their reproductive rights or nothing. Women are just meant to be in the kitchen, or just meant to be subordinate, which is so messed up that anybody can even think that evil, So it's just crazy that this latest election has really drummed up so much hate and made it almost acceptable for racists and bigots and misogynists to just say whatever the fuck they want now. Because I feel like even before then, don't get me wrong, racism has been around forever, since the beginning of the fucking time. But I feel like lately, as each time Trump runs, or each time Trump jumps onto social media or just has a tirade or just gets into shit, it just a lot of fuel, a lot of hate just comes out of that. And a lot more people just jump on that Trump bandwagon and just say the most unhinged things on social media and just to their families and friends. And it's just so hurtful. And you know what? Since I have my phone with me too, I did kind of have I did take some screenshots of some things that really caught my eye, and I'm not going to spend too much time on this kind of, I don't know, I wouldn't say segment, but I'm not going to spend too much time on, I guess, just going down, because I can go down a rabbit hole. This could be a whole episode of its own. I might just do that, might just have a guest on for that one, but yeah. So there's a I guess post that I saw on Instagram, and somebody said, vacation choices giving very limited, but I'm here for it. And basically what they're saying is they're only going to be vacationing in states that voted blue, which is I love that. It's avoid the South, because now with the whole Trump shit, is just hell. I might even, this video might even be demonetized or whatever, because or maybe pushed down to the bottom of the queue because I've said Trump so many damn times, or who knows, maybe it'll be pushed up to the top of the algorithm because I've said Trump. I don't know, but yeah, it's very fucked up, the current society, and this whole 2025 agenda that conservatives are working towards. They're trying to take away. Yeah, they're trying to take away women's rights. They're reproductive rights. They're trying to take away gay marriages and same-sex marriage. They're trying to, who knows what's next? Are they going to take away interracial marriage, because that recently that had to be legalized. Imagine a society where you had to like literally write into a law or write into a bill of rights or write into basically a document that states that, hey, interracial marriages are allowed, which is like, it's insane that someone has to be, that I guess a government has to approve or has to put into law that it's okay to be married, interracially. It's like, why can't that just be a natural thing that can happen? Why do we need to why does a government, why, you know what I mean? And of course it went into and of course all of that had to happen as far as getting it signed as a document, legalizing it, because, racist white people during the civil rights movement, would lynch and kill people of color that were marrying or taking their white women away from them. Trying to improve your skincare game? Guess what? I got a little something for you. You can improve the health of your skincare with the Vogue approved. Yes, you heard that right. Vogue as in Vogue magazines, the models. Yes, that Vogue. The Vogue approved beauty product, Herbal Face Food, the most potent anti-aging, multi-correction skincare product on the market. Yes. So hit that link in the show notes or video description and use our code SPHFF to get 20% off at checkout. Visit herbalfacefood.com to get started. That's herbalfacefood.com. All right. And use code S as in Sam, P as in pineapple, H as in Henry, F as in Frank, F as in Frank to get 20% off at checkout. That's SPHFF to get 20% off. All right. herbalfacefood.com. Okay. Y'all got the hookup. So let them know that Situaseans podcast sent you. All right. Okay, I feel like I'm having a whole fucking history lesson again because I don't have because I didn't write an outline for this episode. I did that on purpose because I wanted to just free flow and kind of just talk about all the things and catch you all up on the latest and greatest and talk about all the things to look forward to in 2025 and just give appreciation posts and everything for you all. And since we are now in December, allow me to put on my Santa Claus hat. All right. Okay. All right. So there we go. I got my Santa Claus hat on and I got my, what do you call it? Christmas, I guess maybe it's like I don't know. What do you call it? Like one of those Christmas scarves or whatever. So yeah. Just kind of giving the Christmas vibe. So again, trying to keep up, with the current time as far as when I recorded a time machine. So yeah, we're in December. So yeah, again, I guess the last thing I want to say about all of this is I am just so afraid for our future as far as where we're headed as a society because of Trump winning again, because now the fact that a white man who is a racist, a misogynist, a liar, and just overall an evil person, basically it's okay to be, I don't know. It's like you can get away with anything if you're a male, a straight cis white male in society. You can get away with anything. If you're a woman or a person of color, you can't get away with shit. Because if Trump was a fucking person of color, or if Trump was a woman and had those exact same charges against him, as far as those felony charges and everything, like they would have kicked his ass out of the race. They would have been like, sorry, you can't run. So you know what? For anybody out there that anybody out there that has a record or whatever, like a felony charge or a misdemeanor or whatever the fuck you like any of y'all have out there, like I honestly think that because of Trump getting elected as president, no employer should ever say, well, if you can't have a criminal record in order to work here. If you work here, you cannot have a criminal record. So I don't want to hear any employers ever say that shit ever again, because it's like, well, you could be a felon and be a president, right? So shit. So don't tell me, some guy who has a misdemeanor, like, weed charge or whatever for, having drugs on him or some shit before weed was legal. Don't tell me this guy can't be president one day, but Trump can. Like, yeah. So I don't want to hear any more of that bullshit as far as who can and can't be president, because with this latest fuckery, yeah, we're doomed. We're fucked as a society. Goodness, I done dropped so many damn F-bombs, and goodness. Yeah, YouTube is not going to like this. So anyway, just wanted to just get that out there and just kind of just say that I'm so sorry about this latest election results. Like, I thought we learned more as a country, but we're repeating history all over again. At least Trump won't be able to run ever again. So, or who knows, maybe the fucking conservatives will change that as well and be like, welp, like maybe like, they'll probably put into some damn law that you can have unlimited terms as a president. Like, I fucking hope not, but who knows? Oh my goodness. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, can you do me a really quick favor? Can you please rate and review this podcast? Like hit that 5-star review, because, and I do read all the reviews because this helps me know how this podcast is helping others and how, this podcast is serving you, because my job as a host is to serve you this podcast the way that you would prefer it to be. All right. Anyway, transitioning to other things, and I've been, doing pretty good as far as like the dating stuff. And, again, this podcast is about dating, relationships, mental and emotional life experiences. So, we talk about everything here on this podcast, and yeah, life experiences is one thing that I want to dive more deep into on some more podcasts. And we'll definitely get more of those episodes out there to you guys too. But, as far as me and my dating stuff that's going on, I'm definitely trying to take it day by day. Won't give timelines and stuff like that, but or of anybody that I'm dating or not dating, but just leaving it very open and broad that I'm just doing me and working on my music, podcasting, and acting stuff. So that is what's most important to me. That's that's why I moved out here to California, to Los Angeles, to do all of that. So that's kind of where I need to put my largest amount of focus on first and foremost, at least for 2025. Like, if somebody comes along, or maybe somebody has already come along, again, I'm not talking about my dating life, but yeah, if somebody has come along, or if somebody is to come along into my life, I will work with that person to kind of reassess and let them know, like, hey, this is where I'm at in my life. I'm trying to get here. If me pursuing the arts is like my priority right now, and maybe you're not willing to kind of work through my timeline with me, that is absolutely fine. You do you. I don't want to slow you down or cut you off from finding other connections. Like, I am just being open and honest and transparent, because I would appreciate the same if I were out there dating somebody and trying to get somewhere. So yeah, so that's what's going on with my dating life, or non-existent dating life. Again, just leaving it open and broad, because yeah, I feel like once somebody, or if somebody has already come along, or once somebody comes along into my dating life, and it's important and it gets to a point where, okay, now this is serious, and now we are ready to share with the world if that person exists or when that person comes along, you all will know. Basically, what I'm saying is, yeah, whenever I do get into a committed, serious relationship, you all will know. You all will definitely, you all will definitely be up to speed. All right. Of course, I'm not going to share that person's name or anything like that. That's between me and that other person, if that person exists or when that person comes along. Yeah, but I would just give you all the highlights of, hey guys, I'm seeing it, like I'm finally in something serious. I'm in a committed something relationship or whatever. So when that time comes, you all will be the first to know. And yeah, that's all with that. Trying to see if there's anything else that's really urgent that I really want to get to the bottom of. Well, you know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, if you all are watching on YouTube or Spotify, definitely let me know. What do you all think about the new setup? I want to hear your thoughts and comments. So comment on the video here. Even if you think, you know what, Sean, your fucking setup sucks. Fuck you. Hey, whatever, because that comment or that dislike will still drive up the engagement on the video. So if you're hate watching, hey, you do you. I'm sure somebody's probably hate watching now, especially if I pissed off somebody because I mentioned Trump and how shitty Republicans are. Honestly, if you voted for Trump, don't even friend me. Don't even come around me. Don't even just unfriend me. If you're watching and you voted for Trump, unfriend me on Facebook, unfriend me on Instagram. Matter of fact, fucking block me, because I don't want to see your posts. I don't want to be anywhere near you, because we can't be in this, agree to disagree. I voted for Trump, but we should still be friends. No, you voted for my rights and women's rights and people of color's rights to be taken away. So no, you voted for hate. You voted for reversing positive change and positive impact. So fuck off. I'm trying not to make this a political episode. I'm trying to just stick to the main point, but things keep coming back. I keep having these tangents. But anyway, if y'all like the setup, definitely let me know what you think in the comments. I want to know your thoughts, because I worked hard to build this podcast studio from the ground up. I got my tools, I got my hammer, and I laid the foundation of the new and improved Situaseans podcast. All right. Well, I'm very thankful with everything that's going on as far as where I'm headed to in 2025, because again, we're in December. I'm just grateful for the holidays coming up. This is going to be my first holiday with the family, because my stepdad Flanders, as you all know him to be, he passed away back in September, October, but he had passed away recently, and just been trying to be there for my mom and siblings. It's a touchy subject because he did a lot of evil to me and my siblings and my mom in a lot of ways, and so trying to be there for them and be there for myself, and trying to have a family again, as far as that nuclear family, that's going to be interesting during, so by the time this comes out, I'm hoping Thanksgiving was a hit. We'll see what happens. And I'm hoping they all have a great time during Christmas, because unfortunately I won't be able to fly back to Chicago on Christmas, because I had just spent a whole month in Chicago for all of November to be there for for two of my friends' weddings, and then also be there for family. So December, you'll find me out here chilling on the beach probably. So that's kind of what's going on with that. And I really want to take a second to just thank you listeners for tuning in, watching. Again, I know I've already said it at the top, but I really want to reiterate this message of how important it is that you all are right here with me and still hanging on and still tuning into the podcast, because as each year goes on, I'm finding that a lot more podcasts are out there and it's harder to get visibility. It's harder to get onto the algorithm. It's harder to bring in new listeners because literally everybody and their mama has a podcast. Literally, there's somebody that I know, a big podcast that I know that somebody has literally with their mama. So, I had started this podcast in March of 2023, and we're about to go into 2025. So this will have almost been 2 years of doing this podcast. And in the 2 years that I've been doing this podcast, literally, I have seen hundreds, if not thousands more podcasts come onto the scene. And yeah, it's harder to get that visibility. So when I say to you all, share this podcast, I really am saying like, hey, y'all, can y'all please do me a favor and share the podcast, because word of mouth is still a strong way to get a message across. And I want to be able to help others out there. That was the whole point of doing this podcast, was to talk about my own experiences and talk about what I was going through. And it was like an audio diary, like an audio journal that kind of just took off. Other people started to tune in. Other people started to share their stories and say, hey, can you talk about this on your podcast? And I was like, sure. Okay. Yeah. Why not? And more people started to submit their stories, submit their questions. And now you all are submitting your Hinge dating app prompts and stuff like that. So if you all want to be a part of the podcast and have your story read on the show, go ahead and submit it. Situationspodcast.com/submit. And then, yeah, there you'll be able to submit your story, your question, and it'll be aired on the podcast. And for context, really quick, because we record a time machine, if you submit, just, be aware that that this podcast releases every other week. So if you submit something now, it's possible that your submission might be, aired in February or March or, depending. So we air out the listener submissions on a first come, first serve basis. So whoever submits first is going to have their submission read first. It's just how it is, unless somebody has a really fucked up or a really, really, really good submission that is like, damn, I got to put this one to the top of the queue. So yeah, submit your stuff. All right.
Situaseans podcast is an open platform covering dating, relationships, mental and emotional life experiences. If you are looking to advertise your brand or product or would like to sponsor the show, send an email to situationspod@gmail.com. That's situaseanspod@gmail.com.
I really am proud of the podcast and where this has come. And I'm really proud of the guests that I've had these last, almost 2 years. So I want to say thank you to the guests that have come on to the show. The guests, in addition to you all listening and watching, you all have made this podcast really what it is. And the guests that I've had, like the comedians, the reality TV show stars, mental health practitioners, like just, like therapy, and like people in, like therapists and people like in that medical clinical field, just so many different avenues, actors. Like who else did I have on the podcast? I just had like even regular people, like just, just day-to-day people that you would just meet out on the street, like people like that. I've just had so many different creative people, other podcasts on. I've had, other podcasters on the show. So there really is no hold or no kind of cap on who comes onto the show. I love having people of all different backgrounds, all different specialties, all different creeds, color, religion, etc. I love people in general, so I want to be able to reflect that and on my podcast, and I want you all to be able to hear those thoughts and experiences of people of different backgrounds and ethnicities and colors. Because if I'm only bringing on white guests, or if I'm only bringing on black guests, y'all are only going to get opinions and experiences of those two groups. You're not going to be able to experience somebody that you never would have experienced if I'd never had them on, like of a different background. So that's another reason too why diversity and inclusion is so important to me. And and part of me wishes I didn't say diversity and inclusion like that, because I'm starting to sound like one of those HR, corporate companies. Yeah, we care about diversity and inclusion, knowing good and goddamn well that the only diversity and inclusion is they probably have one token black person or whatever that's like, under management, that's not even middle management, while the rest of senior management and the CEO are all still white. So yeah, corporate companies really did fuck up the whole D&I, diversity and inclusion saying. But getting back to it, yes, I really do appreciate having guests of all different experiences. I think that's pretty much all the things that I wanted to kind of air out here for right now. I just wanted to kind of take a little bit of your time to just talk about what I've been up to, give you all a little bit of a sneak preview of what's to come. Again, this was a solo, just your boy seanydoo. And yeah, also I got some music coming out as well. I just dropped an EP album called Scars. It's about the triumphs and tribulations that I went through in my past, as far as a lot of the hurt and pain of past relationships, family dynamics, being the victim of abuse and, assault and some other dark things. So definitely check out that album. I'll put a little, like the link to the album will be in the show notes and in the video description for you all to check out. So check out Scars. It's a 6-song EP. You can get through it in like less than 20 minutes. It's really impactful music. And yeah, I shot some music videos for that as well. So a video should be coming out this month, if not next month. So 2 different videos, 2 different music videos for the songs that I did for that album. And then I'm also working on another album coming in 2025. I'm going to probably aim for late summer or fall, but yeah, I'm excited for that album. I'll announce that one when that one is closer to completion. I don't want to jinx anything. But yeah, look out for that as well, because I realized that I haven't really been promoting my music and shit with you all. I've had some artists, I've had some people come on that are musicians or that are singers that have sung on the show, like Claire, the music therapist. She had sung sung the song from the Hunger Games. She's also a singer and performer as well, and getting into that craft. And now she's diving deeper into like the music side, as far as like, making her own music. She's trying to get into more into that. So yeah, like keeping all fingers crossed and toes crossed for that. I hope she puts out an acoustic album for us, like in a full studio album. That would be cool to listen to. And then also my good friend Joy, who came onto the podcast to debut her song from like she was on the podcast. When was that? Was that? Yeah, that was Beauty and the Beast was the production that we were both in. And so that would have been November of last year. Yeah, so that was last year that Joy had debuted her album. And so yeah, again, I'm always promoting other people's stuff, and I realized I need to promote my stuff. So that was my attempt at trying to promote my stuff. And I really do hope that you all have a great, wonderful holiday season. I hope that you all are taking time for yourselves and being kind to yourselves and being kind to each other. because we all need that kindness, especially right now during the during a change in the end of an era, as far as like us moving forward as a country. We're seem to be moving back a decade every every year. It seems like we move back a whole decade because of racist Republicans and the far right extremists. So just be kind to each other, you all. We all are going to be feeling the effects of the country of this change. And for the people that did vote for Trump, again, a big fuck you, and also a big fuck you again. And also, that I mentioned, fuck you. But also, I just want to say to the people that voted for Trump, I hope you all start to see the errors of your ways, because especially for the people like the lower middle class and poor people that did vote for Trump, you're going to be affected the most. You're going to be affected the fucking most, because again, lower middle class and the poor, unfortunately, you know, like that group of people goes, you know, are the most susceptible to system change, like changes within like our government, our structure, our society, and everything that goes on. So if you voted for Trump, and you were already barely surviving and barely head above water. Just watch. You're gonna feel this shit come 2025. Don't say we didn't tell you. You'll feel it. But hey, you made your bed. Now you gotta fucking lay in it. But I do wish everybody out there to just be safe. Be safe. Be kind to each other. And yeah, just do what you can to be there for your family. Do what you can to be there for yourself. Focus on your mental health. And remember that you do matter. Whether you voted for Trump or not, just know that you do matter as a person. At the end of the day, we all fucking matter. And the last thing I want to end off with is, I hate to do this, but Situaseans podcast will be taking a little 1 month break just to kind of have a little bit of a rejuvenation, so to speak, since just with all the stuff that came out of the latest, general elections, and also the creative stuff that I'm trying to do. I do need like at least a month to just recoup, rejuvenate, and make sure that I'm giving you all 1,000% of my energy, because you all deserve that and nothing less. So be kind to each other, and yeah, be patient. And thank you all so much for tuning in. And yeah, this is going to be the new format for going into 2025. So I am so excited, you all, and I can't wait to kick off 2025 with you all strong and yeah, full of a full agenda. And so, yeah. And again, thank you all too for being flexible and letting me take this little month off. In the 2 years that we've done this podcast, I've never taken a month off. Like this, like I know so many podcasts out there that do take breaks, and Situaseans podcast is one of the podcasts that has never taken a fucking break. And so 1 little month won't hurt. It's harder when you're an independent podcast that's not owned by a big podcast conglomerate. But I do want to say thank you to my editors, Pod Machine. You all are the best. I love you all. Like, thank you all so much for editing the podcast and keeping this podcast looking good and sounding good and all that stuff. It's a great collaboration. Even though I use my own cameras and equipment, I bought all the cameras and equipment. I bought all this shit. I spent thousands into this podcast. But as far as the final cut, the final edits, the final angles and everything, that's all Pod Machine. Like, they took over my editing back in March of this year. And so, yeah, they've been absolutely fucking slaying. So I just want to say again, I'm grateful for everything. Thank you so much for tuning in. I will see you all back here for the next episode starting in February. So I will see you all then in February. Take care. Love you all. See you then. Woo!